The title of my recent video was Blockbusters are flopping, and that was more than true. The projects were supposed to be major hits among their audiences, but something went terribly wrong. And now you can forget all about it, that's no longer relevant because there is something enormous on the horizon. We are about to witness the battle of the three biggest blockbusters of summer 2025, which are Superman, Fantastic Four, and Jurassic World. Each of these projects is under tremendous pressure of expectation and ambition, so they'll be desperately fighting with each other for our attention. And in this video we'll cover the issues within these movies and what's actually at stake, plus I'll be sharing my own thoughts and opinions which you can agree or disagree with. So let's get started. We actually had a very similar event happen in July 2023, the famous Barbeinheimer that made people storm movie theaters all around the world, which was absolutely glorious. Oppenheimer and Barbie had nothing in common. Different genres, different audiences, different age rating, yet they worked in a perfect harmony and destroyed everyone on their path. This time it's all upside down because all the three films we're about to talk about have the same age rating, pretty much the same genre, and they're all targeted at the same audience. And that makes it super exciting. So why don't we start with the one that's already out? Jurassic World Rebirth is a soft reboot of the whole franchise. Again. My main concern here is that this was a very short time span between the previous trilogy and the movie that introduces a totally different story with brand new characters on board. On one hand, I want to ask, where's the patience? Why did you decide to put the reboot in production basically right after the release of Dominion without waiting for the fans to properly grow the anticipation for something new and different? Considering Dominion had a very mixed response, and that seems to be the case here as well, taking more time to thoroughly develop a new creative strategy for the new film would have made total sense. They could have just played it safe. On the other hand though, the problematic Jurassic World Dominion with mixed reviews managed to gross over $1 billion worldwide, and two previous movies of this trilogy did the same thing. This whole franchise, consisting of 6 and now 7 movies, had no flops whatsoever. People love the Jurassic movies. That's why it is very unlikely that the idea of rebooting the whole thing so fast will cause any financial problems. The budget for Rebirth was reportedly 180 million, meaning it needs to earn 450 just to break even. Reportedly, it has already made more than $300 million worldwide in its 5-day opening, which is just insane, and we will definitely be keeping our eyes on that. When you want to make a movie with beautiful visual effects and giant creatures, you hire Denis Villeneuve. If your budget can't afford him or he's too busy with some other stuff, you hire Gareth Edwards. The guy is a total pro when it comes to making visually delicious movies even on a tight budget. Godzilla, Star Wars Rogue One, The Creator, just look it up, they all look incredible, and this new film of his direction should be just the same. The only thing that stands in the way of this movie making a fortune is the brand new Superman, and let me tell you, this is one hell of a rival. Releasing on July 11th, Superman will not reboot just some trilogy, but the whole cinematic universe. Established in 2013 with Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, the DC Extended Universe was meant to be the big, dark rival to the MCU and a way for Warner Brothers to earn tremendous amounts of money just like Disney, which had been doing it since the acquisition of Marvel Entertainment in 2009. However, the failure to thoroughly strategize the development of their comic book universe and to even figure out what kind of movies they want to make resulted in an extremely bizarre mix of something dark and somewhat serious with something that looked like it was made for 10-year-olds and under, causing Warner Bros. Losses of hundreds of millions of dollars over the span of 10 years. So in late 2022, soon after the flop of Black Adam, which was supposed to change the hierarchy of power in DC, it was announced that James Gunn, the guy who made Guardians of the Galaxy, is now the co-CEO of the newly formed DCU, tasked with reincarnating the whole thing and making it really work this time around. Just imagine for a second how difficult it might be to rebuild a cinematic universe from the ground up right after the one that was a total disaster at the time when the superhero fatigue is pretty much a thing. Logically, it would be super hard to regain the audience's trust and make it want to see your new big film. Yet James Gunn's Superman is the most anticipated movie of this year. That comes from the trailers hitting insane numbers in viewership with people constantly talking about it. That comes from the $10 million in pre-sales as of mid-June, almost a month before the release, making it the biggest first-day seller of the year. The data for the domestic opening weekend varies from source to source, yet all of it sounds great for the DCU's first theatrical release, with numbers ranging from 100 to $185 million. My biggest concern here is that the film will introduce a ton of new characters at the same time, which is very unusual for the very first movie in a cinematic universe. I mean, this movie is DC's Iron Man, intended to set everything up for the future, not DC's Avengers Infinity War bringing everything to an end, for which you'd need plenty of characters. But I still have faith in Gunn's storytelling because he hasn't let us down yet, so I'm very positive it's gonna be the same case here as well. However, it is totally right to say that it's not Lex Luthor who's gonna be Superman's big enemy this time. That's gonna be the MCU's Fantastic Four. Although Marvel Studios has been in a very bad shape for almost 5 years now, its projects are still a force to be reckoned with. Plus, it's not a movie about some underdogs this time around. That's the Fantastic Four entering the MCU. Like, do you even see who's the lead here? That's the dude you've been seeing literally everywhere for the last few months at least. So let's see the numbers. Fantastic Four First Steps is eyeing for a $125 to $155 million domestic opening weekend. It had actually held the record for being the biggest first-day seller before Superman's pre-sales began. There are articles dedicated to explaining why it is highly possible for the film to earn $1 billion at the box office, which sounds kinda legit, so apparently people are very much waiting for Marvel's first family to finally come out. And as for the MCU itself, this release is gonna define literally everything. They've already had 2 disastrous releases this year, 3 with Ironheart, which we're not dragging into this, but still. The fans didn't accept the new Captain America, they didn't show up for Thunderbolts because they couldn't understand why they should care about some B-list characters. But this is the famous Fantastic Four, this is their big entry, and again, this is Pedro Pascal who's in this movie. Everything just screams major hit here. So if it still manages to flop, even with all the hype around it, then the MCU is dead. Not just dying nor degrading, completely dead. That flop would mean people are no longer interested in anything they put out, and the only thing that could bring in excitement and money is the return of Robert Downey Jr. and the new Spider-Man movie, because this character is immune to any flops, he's being loved by everyone. I'd say it's gonna be pretty challenging for the film to get anywhere near $1 billion milestone, because that requires a lot of people to show up in theaters. And those people will literally be out of money to go and see it after already watching Jurassic World Rebirth, and most importantly, Superman, which will have been out for 2 weeks by the time Fantastic Four arrives on July 25th. But we will see. The only thing I want from this movie is to be good, so please be good. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Drop a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel to watch more videos of mine, and please let me know who do you think will win this box office battle and which movie you're definitely watching. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers!